This is the story of a bad wishmaster who is imprisoned in a stone for thousands of years, but due to a mistake, the stone breaks, and this wishmaster comes out of the stone and kills people on the pretext of fulfilling their wishes. Once again, welcomes you all to Story by Olivia channel. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown 1,000 years ago in Persia, where the wishmaster is asking the king for his second wish. King thought for a moment and asked Wishmaster, "Can you create a spectacle that would astound the entire world?" The Wishmaster replied confidently that it would be no problem and promised to fulfill the request. As the king wished, the whole of Persia gets into turmoil. People transform into weird creatures. Some get the weirdest diseases due to which they die. Then the Wishmaster comes to the king again and asks him to say his third and last wish. The king was so afraid after seeing Persia's condition because of his second wish. So he wanted to make a wish that Persia could return to its normal condition. He was about to ask for his wish when a magician came there. He stops him to ask for a wish. He says that if you ask for this wish, then the pathway between earth and hell will open. He says that it will give birth to a whole new world, and our world will be destroyed. When Wishmaster hears this, he turns red with rage. He tries to do magic in order to make him quiet, but the magician captures him with a red stone. After this, the scene shifts here, and we are shown the present day, where a man is shown waiting for a very rare statue on a site. He has been trying to get this statue for the past 10 years. Finally, that statue arrives. It was being carried down with the help of a crane, but the crane stopped working properly, and that box falls on a man. Unfortunately, he dies coming under the box. That statue also gets broken. That man becomes really upset due to this. But in the statue, there was a red stone, and a worker saw that stone and stole it. He sells this to a man. Then that man brings this stone to a man who used to sell old items. When he looks at the stone, he says that a girl named Alex will tell its price. Then that man leaves that stone for him and leaves. After that, we're shown that girl, Alex, whose name was told by that man. She was playing tennis with his friend on a lawn. Later, both of them come back. When Alex looks at the stone, she says that it's very rare. It looked really great to her, so she wanted to know more about it. She was making this stone shiny when suddenly a voice came from it, saying that you remembered me. When she observes it under a microscope, she sees something strange about it. She brought this stone to a friend with whom she was playing tennis. He says that I'll tell you about this after some research. Later, she goes away for football training. On the other side, when he was doing laser testing on the stone, he saw something strange about it. Suddenly, that machine stopped working. After this, an immense explosion takes place. He falls away. He was severely injured, and as a result, the stone also broke into pieces. He was screaming with pain when a weird creature came close to him. He asks if he's in immense pain. He says, "Yes." That creature asks him to say, "Remove my pain." That man says the same. That creature says, "Okay, your wish is fulfilled." And that boy dies here. Later, that creature gets up and tries to act like a human. But his face was still very horrible. He picks up the fallen stone and leaves with it. In fact, he was the same wishmaster who got free from that red stone. When Alex goes to his friend's lab, she weeps a lot after hearing about his death. The detective there asks her what his friend is working on. She tells him that he was working on a red stone. Then we see a beggar begging for some money. But the supermarket's owner makes him run away. That beggar comes into the street, calling him bad. That wishmaster was also present there, hiding his face. He was listening to everything. He goes to that beggar and asks a weird question. He asks, "In return for his death, can you give me your soul?" The beggar considers him mad and says, Okay. All right. Wishmaster asks him, "What kind of death do you want for him?" The beggar says that I want him to die in agony. Wishmaster says that's it. Your wish is fulfilled. Suddenly, the supermarket's owner starts screaming weirdly. He was feeling strange pain, and he died in this way. As the beggar sees this, he gets scared of the Wishmaster and starts running away. On the other hand, we are shown Alex, who was at his sister's house. She was thinking that the reason behind his friend's death was that red stone, but her sister says that this is impossible. The next day, Alex goes to the place where that statue broke. She meets the worker who stole that stone. He says that he took it from a statue. Later, she goes to a man who was going to be the holder of that statue. He takes her to a room full of statues. He says that these are all very rare and special. He shows her that place too, where he was going to put that statue. At last, he invites Alex to a party that is going to be held in a few days. Later, we are shown that Wishmaster goes to the mortuary room of a medical college. He starts peeling off the skin of a dead body. Meanwhile, a boy comes there. He gets scared by seeing his face and the condition of the dead body. Wishmaster becomes angry. He compels him to say after him that I shouldn't have watched this. The boy says the same. I wasn't supposed to watch this. The Wishmaster says that your wish is fulfilled, and his eyes disappear. That boy starts screaming, but Wishmaster has fulfilled his wish. Then Wishmaster takes the face and skin of that dead body and becomes a whole human. Then Alex is shown, who goes to a history professor. She tells Alex that she read a story in a book. Its name is Stone Made from Fire. She tells us that this stone was made of fire, and Wishmaster was captured in it. Alex gets scared hearing this. On the other hand, we are shown Wishmaster, who is doing shopping now. He buys some clothes for him and says to a girl standing on the counter that you're very beautiful. He asks her if she wants to look like this forever. She says, "Why not? I just want to look like this forever." Wishmaster says that's all right. I'll fulfill it, and that girl will turn into a statue immediately. After it, Wishmaster goes to the police station and asks them for Alex's home address. But that detective doesn't tell him the address. He was looking at the man continuously while talking to him. Wishmaster asks him, "Why are you looking at him?" That detective reveals that this man has murdered 7 people and escaped from prison every time. And then the detective himself expresses his wish to the Wishmaster. He says that if he ever kills in front of me, then I will seize him red-handed. The Wishmaster gets a chance to fulfill his desire. That criminal grabs a gun and shoots 2 officers sitting in front of him. Seeing this, the detective goes to him and arrests him immediately. Taking advantage of it, Wishmaster notes Alex's address on his table. The detective catches him doing this, so he asks, "Hey, what are you doing?" But Wishmaster does something with his eyes, and that criminal starts hitting them again. But this time, they shoot him, and he dies. On the other hand, Alex was at home reading that book. She gets to know that this red stone was made by a Persian magician, so that he could save his people from the Wishmaster. But Wishmaster used this stone. He makes this stone stronger by fulfilling people's wishes. And by making this strong, he wants to open the path to hell. Now Wishmaster is shown going to that man to whom that worker gave the stone, where a security guard stops him from going inside, so he asks him to tell him his wish. The guard says that I want you to leave, and this is my only wish. So to fulfill his wish, he had to go. Then suddenly the guard says that if you want to go inside, you'll have to cross me, and this is my wish now. The Wishmaster becomes happy through his foolishness, and that security guard gets submerged in the glass. Wishmaster goes inside by opening that door. Wishmaster meets that man and asks for Alex's address, but he doesn't tell him anyway. He holds a pot and asks him, "Do you want it to cost 10 times more?" He said yes immediately. The Wishmaster fulfills his wish. That pot turns into gold. He was amazed after seeing it. Wishmaster asks him again, "Will you tell me her address?" But still, that man doesn't tell him her address. The Wishmaster asks for his wish again, to which he says that he wants Rs $5 million. After that, he tells him Alex's address. Then we see that man's mother at the airport. She was filling out an insurance form. It was written in the insurance form that if anything happened to her, her son would get Rs $5 million. As soon as the plane moves, there is a huge explosion, and she dies. And her son gets Rs $5 million. Surprisingly, whenever the Wishmaster used his powers, something happened to Alex, and she used to know everything. Now we are shown Wishmaster, who has arrived at Alex's house. He wanted to fulfill her 3 wishes as soon as possible, opening the door to hell. He imprisoned the souls of all of them in this red stone, whose wishes he was fulfilled yet, so that this stone becomes strong. Alex gets to know everything about it, and she goes and tells everything to the history professor. And the professor tells her that he is so strong, and you can't compete with him. Alex was going to leave, but she saw that Wishmaster was in the place of that history professor. She understands that she is not a professor, but a Wishmaster. She asks him, "Where's the professor?" He says, "I only fulfilled her wish, and now she is dead in her room." Now Wishmaster shows his real face, scares her, and says, "Tell me your 3 wishes." But Alex doesn't agree with what he said. He says that I give you a chance for an extra wish. Alex angrily tells him to shoot in his brain. Hearing this, he acts really normal and shoots. Nothing happens to him because he is immortal. Wishmaster says, "I am still giving you a chance to wish." Alex asks him, "Can you tell me who you are?" He fulfills her wish and takes her to his world. It looked like a torch room. He says that my body is made up of all people's pain, screams, and hopelessness. Because whenever a person has no hope, he desires something. As he says this, a weird creature starts chasing Alex. Alex starts running to save her life. Wishmaster says that I am going to visit your sister. She tells him to stop and fulfill her second wish, then just take her to her house. The Wishmaster fulfills her wish, and she comes home. She calls out her sister's name as she reaches the house. Then her eye catches a note that her sister wrote. As she reads it, she gets to know that she went to a party to which she was invited. She immediately goes to that party, but she sees that Wishmaster is already there. The man tells Wishmaster that I want people to remember this party forever. He immediately fulfills his wish, and strange things start happening. Something strange starts happening everywhere. Everyone at the party starts dying badly. Then the Wishmaster goes to Alex and says, "Now tell me your 3rd wish." But she doesn't. Wishmaster tries to scare her in many ways, but Alex is very smart and doesn't say anything while sticking to her decision. Then Wishmaster revives all the statues there. These statues start killing everyone, but Alex still doesn't express her wish. Wishmaster also shows her a painting in which her sister is also inside. Wishmaster sets the painting on fire and says, "If you still don't tell me your wish, your sister will be killed." Then she mentions a man's name and says, "I wish he hadn't drunk." The Wishmaster fulfills her wish, but then he begins to be imprisoned in the stone from which he came. In fact, Alex cleverly pushed the time back. She connected her wish with the past, to the day when that statue broke. Alex took the name of that drunk man who dropped the wooden box with a statue in it that day. Alex's wishes had come true, and it is shown that the statue neither falls nor breaks. It is revealed that the statue does not fall or break. As a result, the entire process is reversed, and the film ends with this scene. So this is the full story of the Wishmaster movie. If you liked this video, you will also love to watch the wife-like movie story by clicking on the left and clicking on the right for the Invisible Girl. If you want second part of this movie, comment second part. I will try my best to give you second part. I hope you like the video.